Okay, welcome. This hands-on is going to be on doing scripts with Active Directory. So up to now, we've done everything with the GUI, right? And so now we're going to learn how to do things from the command line. Well, not too much. So the whole point of having things with scripts is it takes no user intervention. So that way it can run in the background and doesn't require a human to be there to click on anything or say anything. You know, PowerShell is the new thing, and oh my goodness, it is powerful. PowerShell and Windows Management Instrumentation, the combination of those two, you can do practically anything in PowerShell. I wish we had an entire course on PowerShell. It's that important. It's a good, resume discriminator. If I was hiring a system administrator and one knew PowerShell and one did not, everything else being the same, oh boy, that'd be an easy pick. Just saying. Okay, there's different types of scripting languages that have kind of evolved over the years. So, a bat file, you guys probably remember that from the old days in DOS. The CMD basically is the same thing. So this is just the old style DOS bat file, where you can use copy and, those kinds of things, right? Kind of sort of simple. Then things got a little better and we got Visual Basic Script. Okay, that and JavaScript. Now those two are still being used. Don't laugh. Okay, those things are still being used. Very powerful things you can do in this guy. A VBS script is powerful. However, they're kind of sort of leaning away from those now. And we're trying to get now to PowerShell. So a PS1 file is probably the way Microsoft wants you to go. They probably don't want you to writing any new scripts in VBS or JS. Most likely, they want you to use PowerShell. And then, of course, you could, when it comes to, doing a script inside a, GPO, you could actually just do an exe file. I mean, I don't see that many people doing that, and I can't actually recommend that, but yeah, it actually works. So Windows Scripting Host, WSH, is what supports these guys. And so by default, all modern machines, from Windows 7 on, I can't imagine you running a network that's still running, Windows XP or some goofy shit. So yeah, most likely everybody has Windows Scripting Host and it's supporting VBS and JS. Now, you could have others. You could get Perl and Python because WSH is extensible and you can have lots of other add-ons that work underneath it. But you would have to know that each one of those languages were available on all your machines. Ugh. So right out of the box, that is not the case. Okay, these two, yes. Okay, so in Active Directory, let's go see how this plays out. So I'm going to go ahead and go here to good old, the honest to goodness guy for group management. And so to start with, I'm going to go ahead and just create me an organizational unit just so I can have something to play with. So I'm going to have new, and I'm going to call mine, log on. Okay, cool. So now I got something I can actually play with. So I'm going to do a right click and do edit, and we'll notice that there's actually two different sections where scripts could occur. In here under policies, Windows settings, there's these scripts. These are the startup and the shutdown scripts. Okay, and that means when the machine boots up, it runs whatever you told it to, and whatever you do shut down, it runs whatever you tell it to. In the user side, if I go in here to Windows settings and scripts, I get log on and log off. That's pretty straightforward, right? Whenever you log on to the machine. Okay, so let's just talk about the context. In the log on and log off, it's running under the user's permissions. So whatever the user can do, well then that's what, right? So if the user has permissions to do something, they will, right? But if they don't, it won't, right? Straightforward. Unlike these guys run under a special computer account because there's no human, right? You just booted up the machine. No one's logged in yet. And so the computer account does act like an administrator. It's kind of it's an administrator only on the machine. Doesn't have any administrator rights at all when going to other machines. But anyway, the bottom line is it has the permissions, for example, to install software, all the things that happen. Now, each one of these scripts are basically designed to run unattended, right? That's the whole point. Is that I don't want to have the machine boot up and ask me a question or something. So I expect it to go through without any human intervention whatsoever. That's kind of the goal here. Okay, so one more time. These guys, you can do some really powerful stuff because it runs under the context of the computer account. These guys are only what the current user could do. Okay, cool. So let's talk about how we would go do that. So I'm going to click on the login guy and, you know, typically bring up properties. And so it's going to ask me, first of all, I think it's kind of cool to have a separate little section for PowerShell and then normal scripts. I think that's kind of odd. But anyway, so let's go pick one. So here's the weird part. When I click on add, I need to give it a name of what this thing is going to be. It's not there yet, but I'm going to call mine, you know, log on. Or how about log in? I kind of like to use the word log in, bat. Okay, so it says fine. Okay, but it actually hasn't done anything yet. Okay, even if I hit apply. Okay, this part of the equation is very, very strange. The permissions on this login folders are so tight and so well done that there's no way for you to actually create the login bat file from this step. So basically we're going to stop where we are and just go on over here to like my documents or something, right? So I'm in my documents. Now I'm going to create the actual login bat file, someplace where I have permissions. So I'm going to call it login.bat. Cool. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a copy on this thing, okay? And then I'm going to end up pasting it. And again, pay attention because this part is weird. Okay, I'm going to go back to here. Whoops, I lost my property guy, but it's okay. Bring it up. So I'm going to hit show files. Unfortunately, this is the location as described by the network, and I need to get to the physical location where this is. And there is no convert network to physical. You have to kind of know this stuff. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor here and then, well, if I can get my cursor to do something, and just go all the way to the beginning of this guy and see how it shows this is the sysvol share. I need to convert that back to Windows sysvol. Yes, sysvol is in there twice. Okay. Now I can go in here and do paste. And it goes, hey, you want to do this? I go, yes. Ta-da! Now this is incredibly bizarre. And let me just go through it one more time. The location being offered to you during the GPO edit thing is through the network share. And the network share has write permissions turned off. Okay? Because no one needs write permission through the share. So it means when it comes time for you to put the login file there for the first time, you don't have the right permissions. So you have to go back to the physical location. Unfortunately, even the physical location has been neutered. For example, if I was to do a right-click new, I don't even get an option here for doing, you know, a text file because that thing has been turned off. So this is a very tightly controlled thing. So I had to build it someplace safe and then paste it there. Weird. Now, once I got it, then I can go in here and edit the thing. Thank goodness. Okay? Whew. All right. So let's talk about some of the things that you can do with a login bat file. Let's just say, for example, that I had a particular file out there. I'm just going to make something up. So I'm just going to say server one software. And let's assume we already have something out there called kumquat. We don't, but that's beside the point. Let's just assume that. Okay? And then maybe some, you know, silent option or something. So this would, every time I log into the machine, it's going to go to this network share that obviously everyone's going to have it read and execute permission on. And then it's going to run the kumquat command with the silent flag and go on about our business. Is that making sense? Okay. That was a bit weird. So I'm going to go ahead and save this guy. And so now, oh, well, yeah, okay. Doggone it, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so I just wanted to edit the thing, not go about doing it. Stop. Okay, anyway, the idea is this is a little complex, I can tell you. The whole concept of this GPO thing, it makes lots of sense, but how to get to those files is a pain. Okay, you guys got this? Good. Okay, so the show files button is going to get me to the network share. That's not what I want. I have to be able to get to the physical. And then from there, it's even neutered there. I have to go do some other stuff. All right. The next thing is how do I go about doing things in a bat file, right? So what does a bat file typically have? Okay, so I'm just going to close all this stuff. I'm going to close all this stuff down because I don't really need it right this very second. In fact, I'm just going to close all this stuff. Okay, cool. So here's my login bat file. So let's talk about some of the simple things you could do in a login bat file. So I'm just going to go here to edit. And things you could do, I mean, you could run software off the network. You could run software off of the main machine, right? I could go in here and say, C:, program files, whatever, kumquat, k.exe. Now, if it's going to have a space in it, I'm probably going to have to put things in quotes, okay, that kind of thing, right? You guys know how to do bat files, I hope. Kind of makes sense, okay? But if it's off of a network share, okay, same thing. I could do, server one, software, kumquat, k.exe, something like this, right? Same old, same old. It runs off the thing, okay? So you can map network drives. So here's a good one. Like I just said this thing called net use, and I pick a drive letter. So Q. And drive letter Q is going to map to, I don't know, I might as well just keep going here, server one software. So now, when the person logs in, it's going to map the server one software share as drive Q. Okay? There's other ways you can mount, network drives plus shared printers plus all the rest of these things, right? Kind of makes sense. Okay, so here's a complex case. Let's just say that I have a startup bat file that I want to use to install some software. And you think, what? Why on earth are we doing that? Well, let me kind of give you the story. So I'm going to go ahead and save this guy. All right, now, we've done software installs before, right? No big deal. Cool. All right. Now, the problem is it requires an MSI installer. So I want to install Notepad+, because I happen to like Notepad+. So I'm going to go to Notepad+. Okay, there it is. I'm going to go to this guy. I'm going to go to the download. And here's the latest 8.45. Great. And here's my 64-bit guy. And I'm going to hit the download button. And oops, it's an exe. So I don't have a scenario for an MSI. Well, I can't really do one of these things as an exe. So let's go see if we can find one. So I'm going to do, Notepad+, and then I'm going to switch and say MSI, because I can't be the only one who's wanting this thing. So yeah, there's that, and Notepad+, and silent install an MSI version. So there are companies out there who have taken the mantle and said, we'll do this for you. We'll create an MSI file for you. So here's how you do this. There are some converters in there that can do this stuff. How to get an MSI installer out of this from the MSI. So there's a particular, doggone it, come on. Here's an MSI installer that somebody wrote. Here's the problem. Look at the version numbers. What? So what are we talking about here? We're talking about getting it from a third party who doesn't have the latest version. Maybe there's a bug in here and I'm going to have to wait for those guys. That's just not a really good option here. Okay, we're coming up on the 15-minute mark. You guys know how this works.